Number 5, we've been looking at the points that showed the foolishness of that rich man. Jesus called him a fool. And we've looked at some indices. We said, number 1, not knowing the Lord of the harvest. Number 2, not knowing the will of God. Number 3, not living for others, not being a channel of blessing unto others. Number 4, not accounting for what you have for eternity. And then number 5 that we are looking at right now has to do with living for eternity. Soul poverty, eternal poverty. Jesus rounded up that parable in Luke chapter 12 by saying, so it is with a man who is rich here on earth, but is poor, but has nothing towards God. He's poor, has nothing in eternity. He says, so it will be. Jesus was bringing out a scenario that every single day we live in life, we are actually making deposits. We're making deposits either in banks here on earth, either in structures here on earth, or we're making deposits for eternity. Remember that Jesus had taught several places. He said, where your treasure is, there your heart shall be. Remember him advising and said, let your treasures be there, where the moth, the thieves, and the rust will not destroy it, rather than here. But unfortunately, we are seeing a materialistic tendency that makes people so desperate to acquire, to gather, and to keep here, and to use that as the basis for assurance of well-being, of well-living, of prosperity, and of success. But Jesus was turning that entire value system on its head. He flipped it and taught something that went counterculture. He said, it is about there. So for Christians, many times we need to ask ourselves, do we really believe that there is life after death? Paul said, we remember in our 1 Corinthians chapter 9, verse 27, he said, I beat my body and bring it under subjection so that having spoken unto others, I myself shall not be a castaway. What is he talking about? He's saying that there is somewhere else. There is eternity. Many of the skeptics that have said they don't believe in life after death, some of them are revisiting it again because it doesn't make sense. People that have read the books of Richard Dawkins and they say that there is no life after death, and Richard Dawkins said we simply cease to exist. I have spoken with some atheists one-on-one, and many of them say it doesn't make sense, that right from within there is a feeling that there must be something greater than all this. How right you are. You are created and wired for something beyond this world. Are you preparing for it? Why is it that those who do not believe in God approach the issues of death with so much fear and trepidation? Because that fear, that sense of the unknown is so scary, because you feel there must be something out there and I'm not prepared for it. The question is, those of us that also say we know there is something out there, are we prepared for it? Is it not foolish to be embarking on a journey where you're going to stay for so long and you have nothing there? The question I ask often is, have we even tried to imagine how long eternity will be? Somebody was teaching children in the children's department, and a little child said, "Sir, how long is eternity?" He gave an example and said, if there is a mountain of sand and you sent a snail to pick one grain of sand and walk nearly 1,000 kilometers up north towards Maiduguri to drop the grain of sand, then go back to Port Harcourt 1,000 kilometers, pick up another grain of sand, then walk up again 1,000 kilometers, drop it. So he asked the child, how long will it take for the snail to have moved that entire mountain of sand? And the child just couldn't imagine it. The child thought about it and said, for too long. And that wise Bible teacher said, well, when the snail would have finished moving the sand, eternity is just ticking into like a second of eternity. Is just about starting. We're just about starting. That is how long we are going to live when we leave this body. Is that what you want to lose for a life of 60, 70, 80 years here on earth? Is that what you want to lose for indulgence in 60, 70 years here on earth? We want to spend these 60, 70, 80 years here on earth indulging the flesh, pursuing materialistic things, gaining the wisdom of the world, chasing after the life of the world, and losing that much. Does it make sense as a business person? So Jesus gave the parable because this rich man was clearly a businessman. He was one who understood the dynamics of profit and loss. And for him, he was one who would go for that which would give him the profit. So when he analyzed all the input he made in his farm and he looked at the output from his farm, he felt he had made gain. But Jesus wanted the man to also see the input of his life here on earth and the output for eternity. Where was he standing? Clearly, the man was at loss in eternity. He had gained on earth, but he had nothing there. And I'm asking, what do you have? In 1854, a songwriter, Francis Havergal, reminded us from his hymn about what Jesus did, reminding us of the passion of Christ, reminding us of the sacrifice of the Lord. So he wrote, I suffered much for you. Jesus suffered much for us. And he gave us an eternal estate. He left his estate there to come here so we can gain eternity. And he ended each stanza of the hymn by saying, I suffered much for thee. What have you done for me? Like Jesus asking the question. I left much for you. What have you left for me? I gave much for you. What have you given for me? That was the song he wrote in 1854. And that was huge for revival. But you know, that song is like asking people, what have you left for the Lord? What have you left for the Lord? Glory be to God that 20 years later, in 1874, he wrote another song, as though to answer the questions he had asked in the first song. What have you done for me? What have you done for me? He wrote the second song that said, take my life and let it be consecrated, Lord, today. Take my moments and my days and let them flow in ceaseless praise. Come on. That is what we should be talking about. In view of eternity, take my life, Lord. Take my breath, Lord. Take my moment. Take my gift. Take my talent. Take my ability. Take my song. Take my praise. Take myself. Let me be an offering unto you, that I may be sown here on earth in order to gain eternity. Again, I remind us of what Francis Chan said. He said, it is a great tragedy to succeed in what does not matter. Many times we are watching people that we have said have succeeded or are succeeding here on earth, but we are basing all those based on earthly parameters. We are looking at materialistic things that Jesus was addressing in that parable. And when we look at them, we say, these are those who have succeeded. And I want you to note, do not envy a life that has no altar with God. Do not envy a life that doesn't know the Lord as the Lord of the harvest, doesn't know the will of the Lord, doesn't live for the Lord as a channel unto others, doesn't live for eternity, doesn't have an investment in eternity. That is a foolish person. So again, I ask, if you have heard this and you have followed, the question still remains that what is your greatest fear in life? Is it the fear of dying without having a car, dying without having a house, dying without having your personal property, dying without having $1 million in your account, dying without being recognized as being affluent, dying without living comfortably in the midst of our society, our declining economy? Are these some of your fears in life? What are you living for? What drives you as you go out? What is it that you can acquire that will make you tell yourself, I am doing well? What is it that comes to you that makes you grade yourself as being successful? And I'm asking, is it the things that are all around us? Remember that Satan actually took Jesus and showed him all those things and said, I will give all to you if you bow down and worship me. So it's not anything strange if those things come in, but how about eternity? Are you living with eternity in view? And I say to us again, even before I seal it up, and I'll ask you again, what do you think you can achieve on earth that will really impress God? What is it that you can gain on earth that will wow the angels? What is it that you can see on earth and we can acquire on earth, that the heavens will tremble under the magnitude of your wealth. We are going to a place where one of the most insignificant things there, that when we have walked on the streets and we come home and we need to dust ourselves, we shall actually be cleaning ourselves of gold. The Bible says that the streets are paved of gold. That is where we are going, which means that one of the most base things there is gold. We have not seen, no eyes have seen, no ears have heard, no mind can conceive all the other things that are kept in store for us there. Would you want to lose that for momentary pleasure, for momentary distractions here? Don't be foolish.